بسم الله وكفى السلام عليكم كل يلا كدوا هذا برنامجك أمر عالمك وركا كجران ولي باكم ده نظامك إسقارسينتا حزب الله يلا جبسدي ولي بنتحس كده أنت إن لو جيجا يضرب لي هو الجلكين كوينة يبكس إسقارسينتا وبقول روح لك نوع برنامج كسين كاين حكتم فهمتي قدرت الكلام السين هاي ولي باكم ده سويدن أو جهة تفضيحات مركب يولدي تضرب باسبور مركزيتي بين أور لك السما يسدي برنامجك يسين كايس وسين كاينا diyaaradaha nooca qumaadkan kaw ee markaasitii waa qaadan lahayd walhayka Zimbabwe Bronson iyo waliba nagateeto burburta kahor walyar kureed markii oo salama filaan ay markaasitii ambaji socdaalka diyaaradda ka hal lahayd sida la xaqiiqdi telefishinka ZBC ee dalka Zimbabwe barnaamijka yasin kaina qodobka kalena si hay'ad loo telefishinka General Tony Farabahi koox in iyo weerar qaadan saldhiga 900 ee markaasitii kiyaala koonfurta ee dhulka Israa'iiliyiinta haysadan ee Gaza barnaamijka Sinkayna qorka dalka Spain waliba warqadaha aqoonsiga dinjiran gadoonay safiirkii Korea Falastiin ka socda wana fadhi doona Madrid barnaamijka Sinkayna qodobadaas iyo warar kale oo ka jiran wiili soo dhaweeyay barnaamijka Sinkayna ee fayda taariikhda waliba ay keedinta 17 September sanada 2024 boqolka dalka Spain waa boqor Philip Fay iyo waliba uu markaasitii warqadaha aqoonsiga ka gadoomay safiirkii Korea ee Falastiin oo fadhiyo doona Madrid kureed markii Spain ay rasmi ah aqoonsatay in dawlad rasmi ah ee Falastiin billi hore ee May munaasabad ka dhigay madaxtooyada iyo waliba markaasitii boqortooyada warqadaha ka gadoomay danjiraha Falastiin oo fadhiyo doona waa Madrid danjire Hussein Abdulwahid oo wardaan hore iyo siyaasadda siyaasi iyo diblomaasi Falastiini ah waliba natiijo wal qoole markii la fiiriyo dhinaca diblomaasiyadda oo ay deertii Falastiiniyiinta inay safaarad rasmi ah ku walaalo doonta dalka tirsan midowga Yurub iyo NATO iyana iskaaladow markaasitii luwaladaas galanka jiisida korta inay galanka heran dabool diblomaasiyadda caalamiga tan oo ka mahadnaqay boqortooyada Spain oo Sweden taageertay muddada soo dareeray dagaalka Gaza diyaarad nooca qumaadkan kaas ee markaasitii qaadan lahayd walhayka wadanka Zimbabwe Emerson Mnangagwa iyo burburti maalan hor walyar kureed markii salama filaan oo sanbaaqdi socdaal ka safar lahayd diyaaradaasi sida la xaqiiqdi telefishinka ZBC ee dalka Zimbabwe wasiirka warfaafinta Zimbabwe Genevieve Mazwir yana sheegay in diyaaradan waa ka dhig cilad farsamo markaasna iyo burburti kureed iyana loo ogolaaday in uu madaxweynaha waa kureed yar loo ogaaday inuu soo haykan darar barnaamijka yala darartan Sweden fadeexada wajahayta dawladda Sweden waliba wajahayta fadeexad markii 7 baasaboor lugben abuur la kusubsiday baasaboorada Swedishka arintan waliba ka dambeeyay markii xukuumadda shaqaale hore oo boolis ee ku howlgalay xarunta biyaasa baasaboorada ee ka taalada magaalada Nok waa magaalada Norrköping ee bariga Sweden oo la adeegsaday nidaamka saxda ee baasaboorada yan la sheegay in qofkan daabacay 7 baasaboor waa qaar ku mid ah qaraabadii ee Suuriyan hayan arintan waliba la ogaaday markii Suuri waa lan Suuriyan oo sa ka dhoofi magaalada Dubai baasaboorka Swedishka been abuur balse le dhammaan nidaamyada xaqiijinta baasaboorka oo soona ka tabi magaalada waa Düsseldorf ee dalka Jarmalka meelaasoo magangeli weydiisidii ma xaqiijin karin in baasaboor kale wali la adeegsaday ama la kokoy gudaha Sweden iyadana hadda dawladda Sweden iyo markaasitii qaadahay tilaabooyin degdeg oo la ka adkeeyo biyuka baasaboorada barnaamijka amro caalamka la daratan nidaamkii difaaca waa nidaamkii isgaarsiinta Xisbullah la jabsili waliba taas la ka tilmaamay in geeg la rooga in ay dhidi howlgalkii kuwinay ee beegsiga isgaarsiinta howlgalkan waliba ka dhaawacmeen dad tiradii oo koran dhaafas 100 qofooda walana markaasayti Hizbullah talaabadan lan aragay inay keeto jab iyadana naftarshe hoolanta siya walan ku qabad lahayd arintan dhid isla markaasna jawaabyin oo kulanka biilahayd barnaamijka Arimaha Caalamka la darartan wiilis ololisha كأيدن ديمقراطيين توصلن شرحا والله كحين كمريكانكا يولي درة ويلسا دقيقة دوهي ولا نفس مركزيتي وسا خطبوس كجدي وايس كونس وسا كتلمة مهمية ديالتين ديمقراطيين ترى ترامب قول درا ستابدي.
For folks in the middle that we're trying to do, they have no idea about any of those things. So look, these guys on the other side, you know what they stand for. Here's what I'm most proud of. I'm proud with our side of things. While Donald Trump spent his time whining, crying, grievance-filled. Oh, they did me wrong. They did me wrong. It's difficult to be born with millions of dollars. It's difficult to not pay your bills. It's difficult to have the Supreme Court say you can do whatever the hell you want with no consequence. Apparently that's difficult for him. Kamala Harris spent no time doing that. She talked about you, and she talked about the future. She talked about the future. And again, I don't know if my English teacher wife would enjoy that I'm going there. Another pun, she prosecuted the case really well on Tuesday. So, but you know what you also saw? You saw this and you're here and I see it looking out at each one of you. This is hard, important work. This is difficult work. This will shape generations to come. But hard work can be good work, and hard work can be joyful work. And that's what she did. She brought joy back to the idea of politics, an idea that it can be better, bigger than just one of us. In her entire professional career, she's had one client, the people. The people. And she says this. In her entire career, prosecutor, attorney general, senator, vice president, she never asked Democrat or Republican. She asked, are you okay? And what can we do to make things better? So look, we were in Pennsylvania on this bus tour. This was really great. We old school. We're getting on these buses and we're going into red areas and we're talking to anybody who's out there. Because look, let's just be honest, and she knows this better than anybody. We were looking out at a crowd of supporters, and there was a whole bunch of our supporters with signs just like you, and we're all excited, and really great t-shirts, by the way, up front here. And then on the other side of the street were folks who weren't our supporters. It's easy to tell. They're all in the same hat. As I always say, a group of independent thinkers on one side of the street, over there, ready to go. But she turned to me, and it was just Gwen and I and Doug and Kamala Harris. And she turned around to me and she said, Tim, never forget, we fight just as hard for folks on this side of the street as folks on this side of the street. That's what this is about. Yep. This is why talking to your neighbors, as Gwen said, this is why the work of the next 52 days. People are undecided. Look, I think it's pretty obvious. Most people don't like him. It's not. If this were about having the best ideas or the best candidates, I think we would win most of the elections, because that's the way it usually works out. But that's not what happens. This is about hard work. It's about going out and talking to people. It's about telling them what it matters. And the things we're talking about in this room will help folks who are buying those flags, wearing that red hat, and believing that Donald Trump's with them. What you know is health care for their family, good public schools, infrastructure investments, the right to control your own body. All of those things, if you ask them and talk to them as neighbors, they're going to say, yeah, I'm for that. Then you need to remind them, he's against all of that. He's against all of that. So look, as that prosecutor, she had to take on predators, fraudsters, people trying to cheat you, career criminals, big corporate interests who think they're above the law. Now, it was easier the other night because all of those things were wrapped into one person. So you could take it on. But the fight was there. The idea that we lay out a plan, an opportunity economy plan, one that knows, because she grew up in the middle class, she knows that it's not enough to get by. We've all been there. It's not enough to get by. People want to get ahead and thrive. And in this country, the richest country in the world, there is no reason that the gap between the CEOs and the folks who are doing the work, the labor that's doing the work, the most basic democracy is the ability to collectively bargain to get something. Look, they're doing just fine. But you don't need $400 million when people are just trying to get by. We finally started to see, because of the work of Kamala Harris and our labor friends, brothers and sisters, we're seeing wages finally start to keep pace, starting to go up. So I said this. She wants to make homes more affordable. Because you know why? She watched her mom scrimp and save for years to buy that house. I watched my mom worry after my dad died and the medical bills there, will I be able to keep my house? For those guys, a Wall Street guy, a 6-time bankruptcy guy, a venture capitalist guy, those are just commodities to move around and sell and trade. And if it means foreclosing on somebody, do that. If it makes you money, who cares? But those are our neighbors. Kamala Harris understands that home is the foundation to families and community. That's why she wants to make it easier through down payments, helping builders create 3 million more new homes, and working with local folks to make it easier to get those homes built and permitted. That's what it looks like. And when she talked about prices and price gouging, it was fascinating to me to watch how fast Donald Trump and his running mate jumped on to defend price gougers. Look, 37 states already have laws against that. But the thing that really gets me is we're trying and figuring out how to keep prices lower. Our farmers are working dawn till dusk, and they're getting $3.90 a bushel for corn and $10 for soybeans. They're not getting rich. They didn't grow the food. They didn't process it at the factory where labor did that. Somebody's pulling off a chunk of money out there that has nothing to do with getting that to you. That's what she's talking about. If you're jacking up the price illegally, you should stop that. And one of the American dreams is to choose your path. And none of those paths should be closed out. The idea, if you've got an idea for a small business, it should be easier to start that small business. That's why she proposed increasing the tax credit so you can get up and off the ground. Making sure then that you've got health care so that that doesn't drive you out of a small business. And then making sure your neighbors are being paid enough that they can actually spend money at your small business and everybody thrives.
waayahay guud ahaan weli baan taa ka afmeerana barnaamijkii amura caalamka ee warteelka Arlaadi ee min fayda